Hello everyone, I welcome to our channel Psyche Simplified and I welcome you all to our this series where we are reading NCERT in a very simple manner. These NCERTs are very important for all the beginners who are just starting their preparation and who are interested in understanding psychology in a very simple manner, who are interested in understanding the human behavior, our mental process and all these things. In our previous class 11, chapter number 1, that is what is psychology, we already have done this. Today, we are going to start just chapter number 2, that is method of inquiry. Before we start this particular chapter, you can see that in every NCERT, a very important code is also given. A very important code you can see over here, an idea that is developed and put into action is more important than an idea that exists only as an idea. This is given by Gautam Buddha. Now, this is a very important quote. What it is saying that an idea will be effective only when you apply those ideas into action. So, if you are thinking something, that is not equals to change. When you are apply that thinking into your action, that is very very important. This is given by Gautam Buddha, and you know that the school of Buddhism have a lot of impact in the field of psychology also. We read about vipassana meditation, we read about different kind of indigenous therapy in our paper number 2, therapeutical approaches. There we read a lot about Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism, etc. So this is a very famous quote you can see over here. An idea or thought is very important, but it is very effective only when you have an intention to apply upon it. When you apply upon it, so what will happen, you will get boost, confidence boost will be there. You will get to know that, oh yes, now I apply this, I get successful, now I can do this better in my next attempt, or you will learn something from that particular thing. In this way you develop self-efficacy, which is also given by Bandura. Okay, other than this, one important researcher is also there whose name is Golwitzer, who said that implementation intention should be there. When we get to know that when X happens, I will do Y, then it turns plan into behavior. When you plan something, for example, you are going to study today, so you just implement your intention that if I study for 4 hours, then I might get good marks or I might get good understanding about that particular subject. So when X happens, I will do Y. After this particular study, I will go to movie or I will go with my friends. So what is happening? You are planning something in your thought process, and then you are implementing this. This is how you are turning planning into behavior, and then it will give boost to your self efficacy, it will give boost to your self esteem also. It is also useful for your complete transformation and personal growth. And once you go for the study for 4 hours, you learn some subject, you get good marks in the examination, then in the form of examination marks, in the form of marks in the examination, you are getting reward. So this is what behaviorism. Action is followed by reinforcement, and then this habit of reading for that particular subject become a habit. So this is a complete. You can see the analysis of this particular quote. Very famous quote. You can also use this in your essay paper, in your ethics paper also. Moving forward, if you see in this particular chapter, these are the important content which you need to see. Now, I just tell you that in brief that why this chapter is important. Okay. So see, in psychology, we learn about different theories. We learn about theories of learning, memory, thinking, reasoning, cognition, mental process, etc. We also learn in paper 2 different therapies, different concepts are there. But how these concepts are emerge? Psychologists use some method to come upon those concepts. These are known as research method. These are known as methods of inquiry in psychology. So every experiment is actually followed by a certain method. Every experiment, every learning, every new finding is followed by a new method. Okay, so what are those methods? These are the methods which we are going to study over here. So this is also chapter number 2, chapter number 3 of UPSC syllabus, research method and method of psychology, where we read all the methods which is required to conduct any research. We know that psychology is a scientific discipline. We already understand this particular thing in our previous lecture, that psychology is a scientific discipline. Now in science, what we do? In science, we do experiment. In science, we collect data. Okay, we analyze the data. We finally interpret the data. So in psychology also, we also do the same thing. Okay, experiment, correlation, all these things are conducted so that we can come upon a good research, good data, good theory. So this is method of inquiry in psychology. Under this, we are going to understand that what are the goal of a psychological inquiry. Now, if you're using any method, then what are the objective of this method? Then what are the important psychological method available are there? Observation method, experimentation method, correlation method, survey method, case study method. And then how can we analyze different data? Okay, ANOVA test is there, MANOVA test is there. This is we are going to analyze, but all these things we are going to analyze in a very simple and at very basic level. I'm not going to take to the advanced level right now because it is just the understanding of the NCERT what we are doing right now. Okay, so you can see over here the first page of the NCERT. It is given over here the goals of psychological inquiry. Now, what are the goals? We know that psychology helps us to understand human thought, emotions and behavior, scientific understanding of mental process, behavior and our experiences. Okay, so any inquiry, the goal of any inquiry can be divided into four parts. First is description. Any psychological inquiry, first of all, describe that particular phenomena. Okay, what is the description, what is happening over there? For example, one student is getting low marks in any school. So a psychologist first of all describe that he is getting low marks in the examination because he is watching television regularly or for like 6 to 7 hours. He is always on social media. So this is the description of the problem. Now after this, prediction will be there. If he keeps on doing this, if he keeps on involving giving so much time to social media, he will also face a lot of issues in other domain, not only academic. This is the prediction, what could happen. Prediction is there. And then explanation, why he's giving so much time in social media. Okay, what are the reason? It could be neglection by the parent, it could be bullying, so he just want to avoid any kind of anxiety. So this is explanation. You are giving the causes of the behavior, that why it is happening. So in description, what is happening over there, prediction, what could happen, explanation of why it is happening. Can you control them? Psychologist, a psychological inquiry will also tell you that what are the factors, what are the ways with the help of which you can control that behavior. Yes, we can control the behavior. You can modify the behavior by giving any kind of therapy. You can change the condition. It is a learning, simple learning that can be de-learn also, relearn also. You can remove that behavior, you can change the habit. Okay, we can modify the behavior of a child who is giving a lot of time in social media. Okay, so this is how we can control them. And then we can apply the same method on other people also. So let's say for example, you use the method of token economy, or you use some kind of reward or punishment kind of method, so that a student do not use so much social media. Now you get some result, so you can apply those method on other students also. This is the application. These are the goals of psychological inquiry: description, prediction, explanation, control and application. Okay, any kind of destructive or constructive behavior can be understood by dividing this into these processes. Now see over here, you can see one more example. Okay, with example it will become more clear. Decline in academic performance due to smartphone use, same. Okay, so what is happening? Students are using phone 6 to 7 hours a day. Prediction, likely lower academic performance. You are predicting this. Explanation, why it is happening: distraction is there, anxiety is there, dopamine addiction is there. How can you can control? You can make a schedule, you can give reward, reinforcement, you can limit screen time, and then you can apply this to other process also. So these are the goal which you can see and which you can apply to any kind of student who are using a smartphone on regular basis, and we are seeing decline in academic performance. Moving further, you can see now whenever psychologist or any kind of researcher is conducting any kind of scientific research, then what are the process they are following? Okay, for example, a psychologist or a researcher want to know that good sleep will result into good memory. Okay, so this is actually the research he want to conduct. So first of all, he will conceptualize a problem, he will identify a research topic or develop a hypothesis. Okay, this is the first and very important step. Hypothesis means tentative assumption. So what problem he is going to solve, he is going to understand that what is the relationship of good sleep and memory. Okay, so hypothesis will be good sleep will lead to good memory, number one hypothesis. Or number two hypothesis, good sleep will not lead to good memory. Now either he will accept, he will justify the hypothesis number one, or he will try to reject the hypothesis number 2. If we reject with the help of scientific research, with the help of analysis, if we reject this hypothesis that good memory does not lead to good memory, that means it is the acceptance of hypothesis number 1, that good memory will lead to good memory, good sleep will lead to good memory. I hope it is clear. So this is how hypothesis is done. And then collecting data will be collected. He will develop research design to collect data from the people. He will call the participants. Okay, he will fill out the survey, all Google form. Okay, then he will draw data, analyze data with the help of statistical method. Okay, graphical representation, MS Excel is there. A lot of T test is conducted, Z test is conducted, ANOVA is conducted, and with the help of those data he will come upon certain conclusion. Okay, this is the analysis of the data which I collect or which I analyze with the help of different kind of statistical technique. And then finally he will give a research conclusion. This is my research, this is the confirmation of my hypothesis that yes, good sleep will lead to good memory. Okay, again take one more example, same example. Okay, then it will decline in academic performance due to smartphone use. So this we have done for the same thing. Now what are the steps we will follow? First of all, problem: does smartphone use affect performance? This is the problem. This is the hypothesis. Now we are going to check this hypothesis whether it is true or not. You will collect data, number of students who are watching a smart telephone or a smart TV, screen time. Okay, and then you will collect the marks of the students. Then you will analyze, compare pattern. Okay, in MS Excel or with the help of different statistical method. Then you will conclude yes, negative impact is found, negative impact is there. And then finally you will revise, you will check other factors also, whether sleep also responsible, stress also responsible, and then finally you will give a report. Okay, so this is what steps in research which is followed. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now moving forward, next we will see, we have seen goals, we have seen steps. Now whenever any kind of research is conducted, there are two alternative paradigm to understand them. Okay, now we know that human behavior is very complex, correct? So to understand human behavior, we cannot always rely on one or two method. Okay, holistic is very important. Like for example, if you are saying something that any person is very overreactive, okay, so by just labeling him overreactive is not sufficient. You need to understand the different condition going on with that particular person. Maybe it might be the situation, it might be the condition, it might be the environment that is making him overreactive. Okay, so understanding situation, understanding context is very very important. Therefore, therefore we cannot always rely upon few methods. For example, scientific paradigm is saying that focus only upon the behavior which you can observe. Okay, because human behavior is measurable, it is predictable, you can measure them with the help of scientific method. Okay, it is similar to what we do in physics, biology, pure scientific. Okay, so what are its feature? Objectivity, do experiment, and do the measurement, do the experiment. This is actually propounded by the school of behaviorism. Okay, so the school of behaviorism is saying that only rely upon those things which can be observed, which you can see, because psychology is purely scientific. But after certain period of time, we get to know that no, society is very complex, human behavior is very complex. Therefore, interpretive paradigm is also there. It is focusing upon objectivity, it is focusing upon subjectivity. That subjective feelings, personal experiences, these things are also very important. Okay, that how that not only laboratory experiment, but how that person is going to behave, is going to act in any kind of natural situation. What are the personal feelings of that particular person? What is the context? What is the understanding? Okay, what is the scenario? What is family is there? All these things, this is interpreting paradigm. So in this way, in research, all both these paradigm are taken into. Okay, let's say for example, any child is there, now he is having attention deficit hyperactive disorder. Okay, so we will observe the behavior of the child by doing experiment, by doing measurement, by conducting test, but we will also look into the history of that particular child. Okay, how their parents are behaving with them, how their peers are behaving them, all these things are taken into account. Then only we can do a good research, we can do a meaningful research. Okay, now in the same case, if we see the same example, decline in academic performance due to smartphone use. Goals are clear, steps is clear. Now in paradigm, what we are doing, scientific. What we will do, measure screen time on the marks. It is very simple, objectivity is there. Now under interpretive, we will try to understand why students are using so much of a smartphone. It is because of boredom, anxiety, or he want to escape from something. Okay, so what is the reason? Family stress is there, academic stress is there, okay, bullying is there, peer pressure is there. So in this way, both kind of paradigm are used. I hope it is clear. Moving forward, next we will see what are the nature of psychological data. This is also very important. Now we know that what are the goal of a psychological inquiry. Okay, why psychological inquiry or why research methods are used. After we know that what are the steps in research method, now we formalize a hypothesis that this is my problem statement. Okay, now to solve this problem statement, you need to collect data. Data is very important. Okay, so psychological data include information about behavior, mental process, and subjective experience. Now this data is of certain type. For example, demographic information is there. Okay, for example, name, age, gender, education, etc. Physical information is there, his environment, his neighborhood, family, society, okay, transportation, all these kind of thing. Physiological data, blood pressure, okay, the report of brain activity, sleep duration, okay. Psychological information, subjective feeling, intelligence, emotion, okay, any disorder is there, perception, thinking, all these things are taken into account. So it's not a very simple research. All these things are taken into account, then only a good research can be conducted. Okay, psychological data must be interpreted in context because behavior varies across situations and individual. Therefore, these data, okay, collection of data is very important. Okay, now in the same example, if we can see decline in academic performance due to smartphone use. Now we collect data. Okay, we know that what are the goal. This is the goal. This is what you want to do. How you will do. This is how you will do. Okay, and what paradigm you are using. These paradigm you are using. And how you will collect data, you will collect data demography, you will ask for the age, class, physical environment, physiology, sleep or fatigue, psychological, what is the motivation, what is the attention kind of thing, these kind of things. So this is the nature of data. Now we understand what is the goal. If you want to analyze decline in academic performance, steps you know. Now you will apply certain psychological method to read those things. Okay, now what could those psychological methods can be? These are the pure. This is very important. You will find one or two questions from over here. This is very important. These are the methods of psychology. Okay, what are those methods? Observation method is there. Experimentation method is there. Correlation method is there. Okay, it is again over there. Same thing. Survey method is there. And case study method is there. These are the methods with the help of which any kind of research, any kind of psychological process is followed. Okay, so now we know the data, we know the goal, we know the step. Now we conduct certain proper methods. These are the important methods of psychology. The first one is observation method. Okay, now see, observation means you are just recording the behavior, you are just observing the person. Okay, so first of all you will select the behavior what you want to observe. Let's say in academic performance, so you want to observe the behavior of a child when he is using a smartphone. You will record it, you will write it. Okay, recording is done, same thing. And then you will analyze. Okay, but this observation is of certain type. Naturalistic observation, here you are not controlling anything. Here what you are doing, here you are observing the behavior of the individual in the natural setting. Pure natural setting, you are going to observe the behavior of the people. Okay, to observing a behavior in real life situation such as home, school or hospital. You are not controlling anything. Okay, a very famous study is conducted over there, John Goodall experiment on chimpanzees. You can read about them. Controlled observation, here you are controlling. Okay, you can control the behavior by manipulating the environment. A very important study conducted over here, you can read about strange situation test by Ainsworth. Non-participant observation. Now sometimes what happens, the person who is doing the experiment, sometimes he become the part of the experiment and sometimes he do not become the part of the experiment. When he becomes the part, it is known as participant. When he is not the part, then it is known as non-participant. Okay, so this is the type of observation. Correct? Second one is experimental method. Experimental method is the most effective method. Here, what you're going to do, here you're trying to do cause and effect relationship. Two important things are there. One is independent variable, the second is dependent variable. Okay, so independent variable and then dependent variable is also there. Okay, it is not written over here. Now, what you're going to see, independent variable is that variable which you can manipulate. You will manipulate the independent variable and then you will see the effect of independent variable on dependent variable. For example, you want to understand the growth of a plant. Now you can give the plant different level of sunlight. You can give the plant low sunlight, medium sunlight, high intensity sunlight. Sunlight can be varied. Sunlight is independent variable. Growth of plant is dependent variable, which is dependent upon the amount of sunlight. This is experimental method. Okay, okay. So one is experimental group, control group, where you can control the group. The second one is quasi experimental method. Okay, so experimental method is also divided further into quasi experimental method. What is the difference? We can make this clear in next lecture if you want. We can make a separate lecture. Experimental method is different from quasi experimental method. In experimental method, one process is done that is known as randomization. Okay, this randomization is not done as quasi experimental method due to ethical issues. This is a difference. Okay, so basically, like in a nutshell, we can say experimental method is that method where we develop cause and effect relationship to understand anything. Okay, a very famous experiment, milligram experiment. You can read about this. This is experimental method. Okay, next one is correlation method. Under correlation method, you try to develop a relationship. Okay, whether, for example, good sleep leads to good memory. So this is a perfect correlation. Okay, sleep, amount of sleep is increasing, then memory is also increasing. Definitely amount of sleep should not be more than 12 or 15 hours. It's 7 to 8 hours. Okay, just for an example, this is perfect correlation. Sometimes negative correlation is also there. One variable increases, other decreases. Okay, so this is negative correlation. For example, the more you do meditation, the less is the amount of stress. This is negative correlation. Sometimes zero correlation. For example, size of your shoes, size of your boot, or intelligence. No relationship is there. This is zero correlation. Positive, negative, or zero. One more advanced method is also there, that is known as regression analysis. That is a step further of correlation analysis, but it is not in the NCERT. Okay. The last one is survey method, survey research. Survey means you are openly asking to the people. You are conducting interviews to the people. You're asking them with the help of Google form, questionnaire. Okay, for example, UPSC interview. These are the interviews. Okay, semi-structured interviews are there. Okay, personal interviews are there. You are asking for Google form, questionnaire, written response from the people. Telephonic survey. You are asking with the phone. Okay, this is also one method which is used in the initial phase. But now we have various kind of advanced method. But definitely, survey method is also used. It is also very important. Data collection method. Okay, this is survey research. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Now again, come to the same example. Decline in academic performance due to smartphone use. Goal is done, steps is done, paradigm is done, nature of data is done. Now what are the method? You can see over here. First, observation. So under observation, if you want to apply the observation method over here, then you will just watch the classroom behavior of that particular child. If you want to do experiment, means you will do some IV or DV, independent variable, dependent variable, reduce phone use, check improvement. Okay, so you will see the effect of reducing phone use on the academic performance. Okay, IV, DV is there. Correlation, screen time increasing, marks increasing or decreasing, positive or negative. This is correlation. Survey, you will ask student about their habit, why you are doing this. One more is there, case study. Case study is done when you are doing deep analysis of that particular student. You're reading that particular student for a longer period of time. For example, Sigmund Freud has done a lot of case studies. Okay, Anna O case studies, a lot of case studies he has conducted, and then he gave final result. It's a lengthy method. Okay, you can also see the case studies of Phineas Gaze, HMKF we read about in our psychological subject. Okay, so this is the case study method. I hope these all things are clear. Goals are clear, steps is clear, paradigm is clear, nature is clear, method is clear. Okay, so now we are leaving over here right now. In the next lecture, we will see that what is psychological testing, second part of this particular chapter. Before leaving, a very important announcement to all of you. This is just the basic level of NCERT. In our foundation course, we definitely go to the advanced level. This foundation batch is going to start from 11th of May in online and offline mode. And this foundation batch consists of everything. You will get everything over here. You will get notes. You will get complete classes. The classes will be in live and recorded form. Live classes will be there. You can see the recording also. Updated course is there. Okay. And then other than this, regular answer writing will be there, which is very, very important. Current affairs update is there, which is also very, very important. Okay. And validity will be for 2 years. Okay. It is in online and offline mode both. For further details, you can call us on this number. You can also visit our website. Thank you. Thank you very much.